It ain't my fault. Bitch, probably my fault. Bitch, telling you no. Little snatch my bitch, probably I don't even know. Little bitch, baby, body shit turned to a hoe.
Yeah, what up, world? It's your boy Mac Mizzle, the host with the most. Don't need to brag the most. All I do is give a toast to the real folks. We done paved the way in the real way for us players to play. You already know how it get done. That's why we out here, you know. We're doing it for the real people out here, you know. So I'll show you how we get down in this part of town, you know what I'm talking about. Let's go. Yeah. What up, though? Put a real fast like Batman, nigga, you don't got no tool, watch it, I cat man, put up in the dimmer, but my shoe let me crisp. I'm hearing my Jesus, I H and them. All my niggas is getting for real. I don't give a fuck if you niggas want it, you niggas can get it, we ain't niggas still. Don't give a fuck. Tell them. We out here, baby. Okay. Can't be too loud. Sure. You let me know it can't be too loud out here.
But she can't resist cause I'm making my wrist. The youngest little nigga that's popping this bitch. Niggas too old to be high kick. These niggas could be going outside by this bitch. It ain't my fault you broke. Bitch, probably my fault you bitch telling you no. Little snatch my bitch, probably I don't need no. Little bitch, baby, body shit turned to a hoe. Like Gucci bitch, swing my dough. If they gotta put a high up for something for the low, they just rather get back tricking off on them hoes. I was bossed up in the cut checking roll.
Like in Louis, feel like Gucci when I swing my dough. Ain't did no show.
Slow G Herbo, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to G Herbo, you know what I'm saying? Doing his thing, you know what I'm saying?
Number the 100 pack, if it ain't taking the money back. Thank fuck niggas know you loving that. All sales fine. I'm finished like vinyl, on Rick, call me lighting. He tried to run from the F and them bitches went right in his spine. I don't be feeling entitled, but all of my whips got a title. And I can't take kicking with niggas, so I make it clear I don't like it. Big G Herbo. 12s in the whip, no turbo. I don't know if Cali gon' work though. I don't wanna try and wear fur coats. I'm rocking drip out of Birdo. I'm on the block with my shirt off. Hop in the lamb and skirt off. And should I spam my murk off? I'm getting too rich for this life. Homie, a bitch, he want me for this life. Sometimes I almost get sick of this life. But fuckers, I'm tripping, I'm living alive. Niggas be hating, they living with strife. Youngers too savage, they living in trife. Pistol ain't let me get hit with this knife. We be twitching, get hit with it twice.
Playing the dozens, we saying. We playing the dozens, we saying because we young on the block, we do what we want. And you knew that you wasn't. I don't give a fuck if you niggas acting up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have some of my player partners come through, and we gonna spit some real shit, you know. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk about this manufactured manipulation. You know? We're gonna play all these young niggas tracks, you know.
I got a party, I just got the low. I bet you we be them there. Think I was coming, this house at the drop. I bet you they see me there. I got a party, I just got the low. I bet you I beat them there.
Let's see what's good, you know.
I bet you they see me there. Bitch, I'm on demon time. Got my dog in the cell, so it's free to God. He been talking too much, he gon' see the nine. Finna wake this bitch up like a pussy drive. If the bitch beat me up, bitch, I'm pleading the field. Hold the drop like a crush just to keep the bitch still. Hit that boy in his head, I was fiending the drill. I was made for the trenches, I'm built for the field. I ain't never ran, can a nigga lie on me. Glock on my hip, keep a fire on me. I think when my gun ain't got a mind on me. I'm so around the block with a window tint. Walk car down, get up in that bitch. 12 on the ass, so I hit my glick. That's fair time, nigga, that come with that shit. Real life war zone, I'm with that shit. Let's smoke great blunts, I meant that shit. Watch them out in them songs, better fix that shit. Bitch back with smoke, no switch shit. Block back with a drink, had to switch that shit. Engineer go dumb when he mix that shit. Bang the drink like a drum when I hit that bitch. Nigga, fuck where you from, nigga, say something, bitch. I'm a real life soldier, I'ma face something, bitch. When it's once in the blunts, I'ma face something, bitch. Look, bro, went to tell he ain't say nothing, nigga. When the court, he found out, was snitch to the nigga in the grave. Now all y'all bitch, turn my niggas up, now we all some glitch. Big Glock in my hand, but we all got rich. And the whole gang slide, we all on mission. All y'all snakes, nigga, all y'all hissing. The ops got a party, I just got the low. I bet you we be them there. Think I was coming, this house at the drop. I bet you they see me there. The ops house got a party, I just got the low. I bet you I beat them there. They think I was coming, the hoes at the drop. I bet you they see me there.
Ran the judge already decaught. I put on the switch to the blade on the chop. Two spots every day on the arm. My F in the mall when they send me to drop. We really got low from the helicopter. I'm 200 and no one never stop. How you wanted to go? We got plenty shots. It's a body on me when you toe prop. But when any little man to get wet, watch him down the scene, couldn't see a dog. We got scraped in the table, one by the bar. Got an old Russian K long to turn the bar. On the A drunk around the baby bar. I love taking these drugs in my only problem. We ain't whacking for cheap, got the up the dog. When it's time to go slide, I take my revolver. It since a little nigga been loaded. Off the Cartier, I skip the road. Check the purpose, make sure they coded. Shot the cops so much till I broke. No, I ain't no more club for ops. When they send a low, get on point up in the car with me. You know we full as focus. This one here was okay. These two sneak. He get the close. 76 through AR pills, so that bitch all go like a trophy. And all my tip by 5%. When we creeped up, he couldn't even notice. Give up anything if you owe me. We slash shit like Nickelodeon.
The house got a party, I just got the low. I bet you we beat them there. They think I was coming, this house at the drop. I bet you they see me there. The house got a party, I just got the low. I bet you I beat them there. They think I was coming, this house at the drop. I bet you they see me there.
Oh, these little gangsters, all that, right? Y'all already know how that's about. Opt this, opt that. Everybody's opting out. So that was Lil Loaded and Pooh Shiest. But let's get into this game real quick, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to keep y'all held up for too long. So when we talk about this manufactured manipulation, matter of fact, let me go ahead and play one more track for the players, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot to learn out here, you know. What's explained don't need to be misunderstood. You know? Everybody trying to get on and all that. Let's see this Fredo Bang and Sada Boy track.
I'm big step. I hear I was thirsty, but I don't never feel no pressure. Yeah, me without the Draco, just like salt without the pepper. 10,000 in a chain to turn a nigga to a stepper. Yeah, I'm big five. Yeah, send them youngins at you, you can run, but you can't hide. Niggas screaming murder, but they never did a crime. You know you not that out while you trying. Yeah, pull it out my pocket like I'm reaching for my cell phone. I did it with my man, so who the fuck you about to tell? I'm dancing in the zipper, we ain't talking about no headphones. Yeah, I got 5. Yeah, put it on your cousin, cause that bitch ain't worth the dime. Yeah, when I'm in the city, tell them pussy stay inside. Just like Nelly, I got murder on my mind. Yeah, I'm big stubborn. I hear I was thirsty, but I don't never feel no pressure. Yeah, me without the Draco, just like salt without the pepper. 10,000 in a chain to turn a nigga to a stepper. I'm big five. Yeah, send them youngins at you, you can run, but you can't hide. Niggas screaming murder, but they never did a crime. You know you not that out while you trying.
No, he slammed me, ain't my cat, niggas dead. That's on God. I got a drink, got 4 bags. Bitch smash my back, on that type of tank. 2 shots through your right, 10 more in they life. Look, his niggas outside, he don't care about his life. We gon' send him home, that's what he wants. Scary sight. Swooping in the cut with double cups, the extra pipes, some scoop. I'm sniping, and I got on all my ice. Dude.
I'm be stepping. I hear all the threats, but I don't never feel no pressure. Yeah, me without the Draco, just like salt without the pepper. 10,000 in a chain to turn a nigga to a stepper. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, send them youngins at you can run, but you can't hide. Niggas screaming murder, but they never did a crime. You know you not thugging while you trying.
Why you trying? You know you ain't thugging while you trying. Oh, let me play this next one. This next one goes in. This is R.I.P. to King Von, you know what I'm saying? This for King Von right here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta show y'all this one. Quick. I gotta show y'all this one. You know what I'm saying? This is the Funk Flex. I guess this is a tribute to King Von, you know. Shout out King Von.
26, never had a job. They never.
Shout out King Von, man, you know what I'm saying?
Von.
You live that life, this is shit that happens.
26, never had a job. They never gave a nigga shit, so I had to rob. I was walking niggas down, they ain't have a car. Too fast, I get on your ass, you ain't getting far. Too sad, you was talking bad, now you a star. Who's that? We don't give a fuck, he ain't want a boss. Used to cry, hit him high, you call pissed. Mark, find you out, you a stop. We the guys living lost. Then. You know we ain't squashing no beef, no beef. My dog got dumped in the middle of the road. We leaving this shit in the street. Got some shorts outside, they looking for me. They ain't looking for me. Got some shorts outside, they won't go to sleep. What? Cause this how they eat. But lately I've been trying to be cool. Cause I know the kids, they watch what I do. And I know the feds, they watching my niggas, they stopping me. Sending this bitch to the moon. We shoot them boys fast, they give them a boom. This one for patrol. He wasting his ass, you see him at noon. Why? Put him on the news. This how it go. Better keep your paw. Better not move slow. Boys on the road. The boys trying to slow. Boys ain't gon' blow. That boy ain't no home. I'm letting you know. Damn. You know we ain't squashing no beef. My dog got dumped in the middle of the road. We leaving this shit in the street. Got some shorts outside, they looking for me. They ain't looking for me. Got some shorts outside, they won't go to sleep. What? Cause this how they eat.
Shout out to him, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a sad state of affairs, man. You know. With some real young niggas that about it, you know, and then you got these suckers all around the place. They don't really care about the image that they portray. So when I talk about manufacturing manipulation, I'm talking about stuff that could be sold. You know what I'm saying? And given to you in a package that could be detrimental to you, you know what I'm talking about? Which is most of the hip hop that we're hearing right now. You know? Keep it on low frequency, low vibration. It's like you damn near gotta be suicidal. Want to be a rapper nowadays, you know? These are the things that keep us from grasping our true power over this shit, because they can't stop us, you know? They can't. They know they can't. So what they try to do is adjudicate. You know what I'm saying? But you know all about that. This soul system lets out people and they lock people up only to strengthen the system more exponentially. So don't let them fool you. You got us caught up in all sorts of sinister plots. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go ahead and show this Lakers Clippers game. Break it down with y'all, you know what I'm saying? And y'all let me know. If y'all liking the bubble this year. Is it gonna take us where we need to go? So when I talk about manufactured manipulation, everything that we see, that we pay attention to, that's manufactured manipulation. Because if you're paying attention to it, it's not free. It's manufactured. It's put in front of you for a reason. In order for you to be deceived by certain things that are happening in the general public, are more like deceptive tactic to keep you dumb, deaf, and blind, you know what I'm saying, and your mind off of the real issues that are plaguing our community as we speak. So I just look at it like, is it really worth it to not be an integral part of society, whereas you're being the hustler, gangster, everything that understand that's not productive, constructive for that matter. You know? It's hard to break it down in a ways where I guess that's where we get the name lame, the word layman from. Lame. Certain things we have to distinguish right from wrong, you know? Good over evil, life over death, you know? Like, man, when you talk about people being sold into slavery, that was manufactured manipulation, you know? You talk about us being taken advantage of in this rap game, what have you. That's manufactured manipulation. You know, if they manipulate us a certain way, it's gonna pay off for them, and it's gonna be detrimental for us in the long run. That's why they don't mind us being destructive to our own kind, putting out all these negative images and these so-called beef, and it has nothing to do with being a real man, you know? So what we're just showing the kids is just to be effeminate and pretty much throw their life out the window for a bunch of bullshit. So we can't be manipulated by that. a lot to unpack, you know. It's a lot to unpack, and a lot to go, and a lot to understand, and a lot to show, especially when it comes to this whole vaccine thing. That's manufacturing manipulation. Because what first they come out with COVID-19, it's reported that the Chinese, they didn't come out with no vaccine. They just pretty much took the necessary precautions, did the necessary isolation and everything like that to stop the virus in its tracks. Now they're not dealing with it as severely as we are now dealing with it down here. So now let me just show y'all this real quick. It said that a ex-pharmaceutical rep, Brandy Vaughan, found dead after warning people to investigate her death. The facts. Let me just share this shit with y'all for y'all to see. Let me share it for y'all to see. If you don't mess with the game, you will see, you will understand that it's nothing that we can't understand if we don't expand our mind. In time, we'll see that it's all from the divine, just recline and realize that it was more than a suffix. Suppress the system until you don't love it. Think nothing of it. And remember, you're a creature of habit. So here are the facts. Former pharmaceutical representative and founder of LearnTheRisk.org, Brandy Vaughan, has passed away. This comes out. She made a post and videos expressing concern for her life. Not much information is available. Updates will be reflect on. Why are those who do the work that Brandy Vaughan did always unacknowledged, censored, and ridiculed at any time they attract a lot of attention? Why are there so many mysterious deaths in the alternative holistic health community? You hear that? Y'all hear that? According to Children's Health Defense, Brandy Vaughan passed away due to gallbladder complications, a medical issue that she probably struggled with throughout 2020. She will continue to provide more updates as if more information becomes available. Second update. I have been in contact with a close friend of Brandy. According to her, she was fine. Ate a lot over Thanksgiving and seems totally healthy. Apparently, it was a sudden death that happened out of nowhere. A great friend and amazing warrior, a loving mom, Brandy Vaughan, Learn the Risk has passed. Please send your prayers for her 9-year-old son, her dogs, her cats. Her son was her world. Her son is in safe hands currently. We don't have many answers yet. Please try to avoid engaging in rumors out of respect for her and her son. Thanks to all who have been reaching out to offer condolences and asking for ways you can help. We are so deeply saddened by this news. Tina Maria, close friend via Go Get funding campaign to find out what happened. This was one of Ovan's requests if she were to be found deceased. More on that later in the article. It is with such a heavy heart that I list yet another activist found dead, and this time is my friend and colleague Brandon Vaughn, the founder of the well-known non-profit Learn the Risk. She was found dead by her son, who was a minor. Tragedy has struck in the alternative independent media world as Randy Vaughn, a well-known drug, health, and vaccine safety advocate, and former pharmaceutical company representative, was found dead in her home, leaving behind a 9-year-old child who found her. This information comes from multiple friends of Vaughn across social medias. As well as Facebook itself, having now posted a note atop her Facebook page. Little is known about her death right now. Vaughn was the founder of LearnTheRisk.org, a website non-profit organization that created awareness about the dangers of various pharmaceutical drugs, concerns that many scientists and doctors have been raising about vaccines. Her background, working for pharmaceutical giant Merck, inspired her to do the incredible and brave work that she did. She was a legend and worked extremely hard with enormous amounts of passion and determination. While working in the pharmaceutical industry, she sold Vioxx, a painkiller that was found to double the risk of stroke and heart attack that was eventually taken off the market as a result. In that experience, I realized that just because something is on the market doesn't mean it's safe. Explained why. Much of what we are told by the healthcare industry just simply isn't the truth. Her organization created awareness in a very credible way. She gathered countless doctors and scientists from around the world and archived and published peer-reviewed research outlining the concerns being raised in the scientific community about various drugs and vaccines. Her organization reached millions of people globally every single month on social media, tens of thousands through her website alone. They posted 38 billboards which reached over 30 million people. They have hosted over 30 campaigns rallies in the past 2 years. They've produced videos and educational materials that reached over 1 million people and did educational talks and events worldwide. We are actively changing the conversation around vaccines. The pharmaceutical industry, which should never be trusted with our collective health. She was worried. One chilling factor about her death remains that's the fact that she was concerned that she was going to pass away on December 1st, 2019. The post I wish I didn't have to write. Well, given the certain tragedies over the last couple of years, I find it's absolutely necessary to post these 10 facts. Please screenshot this for the record. I've never had any thought of taking my own life, not once, ever. Even before I had my son. I have a huge mission in this life. Even when they make it very difficult and scary, I would never take my own life, period. Bastien means everything to me. I would never leave him. Bash. Period. I have sole custody and he needs me as much as I need him. I would never think of leaving him for a second. I have never been on an antidepressant nor been diagnosed as depressed. Don't believe it if you ever hear any of the sorts. I've never taken a daily pharmaceutical drug. I haven't taken any pharmaceuticals in 10 years. 10 years ago, it was one pill one day. Nothing over the counter, nothing by prescriptions. In other words, I'm not on anything that could kill me unexpectedly or suddenly. I've never done illegal drugs either, not even once. There's no way that anyone could get into my house. No robbers, no angry exes, which I don't have, by the way. No fanatical people. My house is like Fort Knox, unless it was someone super professional. It just wouldn't be possible for anyone without highly special equipment and tactics. remotely taking down my high-level security system, which they have done before, unfortunately. But my place is so highly secure in a hardwired kind of way. So even if the power was out, most people could still never get it. Something were to happen to me. It's foul play, and you know exactly who and why. Given my work and my mission in this life, I'm also non-accident prone. And I got the highest health rating possible when I went through a battery medical test a couple years ago. My life insurance policy. If something were to happen to me, I have arranged for a group of my friends to start a GoFundMe to hire a team of private investigators to figure out all the details. I have the team and I have passed the info on to them. All and money for a PR firm to make it national news. There would be a press release sent to every journalist in this country and more. And it would be not be swept under the rug, and it would be their worst nightmare. There have been many on this mission on a similar one that have been killed. And it's time for this bullshit. It's time this bullshit stopped. The darkness cannot win. I will never stop speaking for out for those who no longer can. Even if from the other side where I imagine I will be far more powerful. I have a team of angels surrounding me every step of this journey. Prayers of protection and love are always appreciated. The overt and covert intimidation of Brandy Vaughn. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Brandy Vaughn, and for those of you who don't know me, I have been an activist speaking out against SB277 here in California. Wow, what happened to our work? You guys sit back and let this happen. Yeah. This is a very slippery slope. In this fight, I have been under a little bit of heat, and I wanted to document this. Just in case. I wanted to show some of the intimidation tactics that I've been under. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I got involved in this fight because I used to work for Merck here in Santa Barbara where I live. And I worked there from 2001 until 2003, and I sold Vioxx for Merck. Vioxx was eventually taken off the market, and it was proven that Merck had knowledge that it increased heart attacks and stroke by 2 times, and it injured and killed a lot of people. It was eventually pulled off the market, and I lost a lot of faith in the healthcare system. I went to Europe, and then I came back with a 6-month-old son, and I was bullied at the pediatrician's office in San Francisco, and I asked to see vaccines and questions about them. And that was a huge red flag for me because I already had mistrust of doctors and the healthcare system in general and pharma. And so I did a lot of research, and that was 4 years ago, and that was where my vaccine research started. And I realized that they were not very safe, actually, and not very effective. And I chose not to vaccinate my son. So when I heard about SB277 in California, I decided that it was important that my voice was heard and that I was speaking up against it and part of the fight. So when I made that decision 3 months ago, I know that I knew I was going to take some heat for it, but I wasn't quite sure how much heat. And so I'm making this video today to describe the intimidation tactics that have been used against me to try and silence me. The first one happened when I was coming back from the Capitol rally in Sacramento against SB277. And I came home with a friend to my hide key being on my doorstep, open to the key. And the story behind this was a year ago when I bought my house, I hid that deep in the bushes. And 6 months ago, I had looked for it because I thought, well, it's probably not a good idea to have a key to my house right outside my door. I couldn't find it, but when I came back to Sacramento, that one time, it was about 2 months ago, that the key was on my doorstep open. That day, I had my locks changed, and I called an alarm service, and I installed a $3,000 alarm service, and I installed a $3,000 alarm system 2 days later. So what happened apparently is someone opened the door, the front door, went through the front door, picked the lock, and my alarm went off, and they immediately disarmed it with the master code, which nobody had but me. I made sure nobody else had that code. And they disarmed it at the panel with that code, panel inside. According to the alarm company, at 3:45 in the morning, somebody entered in through the front door, the alarm went off. They disabled the alarm by putting in the master code right away into the panel. And then at 3:46 in the morning, my hallway monitor sensor went off. So someone went down the hall. And then at 3:48, someone opened my dining room window and then closed it right away. And then if you notice, the dining room window actually faces out towards the backyard, which is much more private than the front door, which they used to enter that time. And then they went over to the keypad, entered the code again, and then left through the front door at 3:49. After the incident, I talked to some security experts who have actually done intimidation for corporations, and they explained a few things. They said, well, they were probably tapping your place. So everything I say and do in here is listened to, if not watched. And then opening of the back window, because it's a much more private way to get in for future reference, for future visits. When I did return home, and the police came in and made sure nobody was here, and then I came in after the alarm was set off, after the break-in. And what I did notice was they had left this window unlocked like this. And before I left for Sacramento, all of the windows and doors were locked, double locked actually. I went through twice to make sure that they were locked. So after that happened, I didn't really feel comfortable sleeping in my house again because, of course, they could come in and disarm my alarm whenever they wanted. There wasn't really another way to secure the system. I changed the code, but again, who knows how they got the code in the first place. The security expert is pretty convinced that the house is tapped. My phone is being listened to, my conversation, my text messages, and then my computer, both of my computers as well. The next thing that happened actually was with my computer. So one of the things that the police wanted to know was if anything was taken in the break-in. Of course, nothing was because they weren't here to take anything. I did have a computer here in a hiding spot, and when the police were here, I did actually come and look to make sure the computer was still here. And it's here above the microwave is its hiding spot. It's not a place anyone would know to look for the computer. And it's not, especially in being here only 4 minutes. 2 days later, after that happened, after the break-in happened, I walked into my place to move some stuff out, and the computer was taken from its hiding place and put in the middle of the floor.
Wow.
And so I came back home to pick up some stuff. I wasn't staying here any longer. And that message was there, which was obviously very scary because clearly somebody had been listening in, if not watching, as to where the computer was. So after that, I decided that it would be best to get out of town, and I left town for a couple of weeks and really went off the grid for a good part of that. So after the computer incident and leaving town for 2 weeks, the day that I came back, I had a friend come with me, and him and I arrived at my place and found a ladder open right in front of my door, looking into the windows, the bedroom window. Now, this is my ladder, but this ladder lives in the garage. So it was clear that somebody had accessed the garage, brought out the ladder through the side of my house, opened it, looking right up into the window, and this happens to be the only window that I had blinds open. So that was quite a message. The security experts said, wow, what a better message than to say, we're watching you. And this actually happened the day that I came back into town. So they clearly knew that, it happened the night before. They clearly knew when I was coming back. The neighbor who was feeding my dogs came over after half an hour after we found the ladder, and she asked, so what's with the ladder? And I said, I don't know. I mean, I didn't put it there. And she said, well, it wasn't there yesterday. So it means that it happened the night before I came back into town after 2 weeks. So clearly they are watching. The next incident was just 2 days later, and that's in the garage. This Buddha was on the floor. Normally the Buddha is pretty heavy. It was on here on top of the dog cage, holding the towel to cover it up at night for the dogs. So it was taken off of here, and there's really no way it could have fallen because, I mean, it's actually really heavy, and if it had fallen, it would have fallen, some different way. But I walked in, and I found it right there on the ground. The pictures were also knocked over. So then 2 days later, I noticed it first through the kitchen window, and it's not something I have ever seen before, but there is a duck. On my table. And when I talked to the security experts, I said, I don't understand the duck. And then it came to me that I had been on my phone having a lot of conversations about people asking me, are you staying at your house? What are you going to do? And I used the term repeatedly, well, I'm not staying at my house. I feel like a sitting duck because they can get in at any time. And, I'm a sitting duck. And so that was actually quite disturbing to come home to. Now I have a duck. I have never seen it before. It's not mine. Nobody else is having access that would bring a duck. It's a clear message that, again, they are watching me. And the intimidation is quite, intimidating. And it's quite scary. So after all of these intimidation tactics, it's very hard to feel safe and secure, but I'm not going to go away. I mean, I'm not going to be silenced because these are important issues and we need to expose what's really going on behind the mandatory vaccination bills. It has nothing to do with public health. It has everything to do with profit. And
manufactured manipulation, guys.
This fight. We may have lost the battle, but we still have a war to win. And hopefully by documenting this intimidation, they won't be able to get away with it in the future with me and with anyone else who speaks out. There's some evil going on here. We need to fight it.
Yep. Goes on to say closing remarks. Little has been made public about her death or how and when she actually died. She's not the first. There are still many unknowns. We provide updates as more information emerges. Many mysterious deaths have been plagued the alternative media health community over the years. Especially when it comes to holistic doctors. Vaughn was one of many to create awareness about issues, especially concerns about vaccine safety. In a credible way, it's one thing we pride ourselves on doing here at Collective Evolution. Despite presenting information from credible sources, renowned scientists, and peer-reviewed publications, concerns raised by vaccine safety advocates are often labeled as conspiracy theories. Anybody who presents any type of information that raises any type of concern about them is also referred as anti-vax conspiracy theorists. While the concerns they raise are never really properly addressed nor countered, this happens to doctors and renowned scientists publishing research all over the world. Yet their concerns again continue to remain unacknowledged and ridiculed by the mainstream. Does this happen these days with so many controversial topics? What's going on here? Here's one topic on the issue out of many that is a great example of what I'm talking about. Our sincerest thoughts go out to all of her family and friends. We will continue to do what she want all of us in the space to do. Keep going. I'd like to leave you with this quote to reflect on, taken from a paper published in the Internal Journal for Crime, Justice, Social Democracy by Professor Patty Rawlinson, Western Sydney University. Critical criminology repeatedly has drawn attention to the state-corporate nexus as a site of corruption and other forms of criminality. The scenario exacerbated by the intensification of neoliberalism in areas such as health, the state-pharmaceutical relationship, which increasingly influences health policy, is no exception. That is especially when pharmaceutical products such as vaccines, a burgeoning sector of the industry, are mandated in direct violation of the principle of informed consent. Such policies have provoked suspicion and dissent as critics question the integrity of the State Pharma Alliance and its impact on vaccine safety. However, rather than encouraging open debate, draconian modes of governance have been implemented to repress and silence any form of criticism, thereby protecting the activities of the state and pharmaceutical industry from independent scrutiny. The article examines this relationship in the context of recent legislation in Australia to intensify its mandatory regime around vaccines. It argues that attempts to undermine freedom of speech and to systematically excoriate those who criticize or dissent from mandatory vaccine programs function as a corrupting process and, by extension, serve to provoke the notion that corruption does indeed exist within the State Pharma Alliance. Dive deeper. These days is not just knowing information and facts that will create change. It's in changing ourselves, how we go about communicating, reassessing the underlying stories, ideas, beliefs that form our own world. We have to practice these things if we truly want to change. Collective Evolution and CETV, this is a big part of our mission. Amongst hundreds of hours of exclusive content, we have recently completed 2 short courses to help you become an effective change maker. One called Profound Realization and the other called How to Do an Effective Media Detox. Wow. I mean, that's all I gotta say is just wow. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. I'm telling y'all, man. They don't want to see us winning. You know what I'm saying? They out here got us caught up in the game. It's a damn shame, man. But one day we're gonna make it out of the store. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know it's few and far between, but god damn. They're killing the holistic doctors. We got Dr. Sebi. Nipsey was trying to do a movie on him. They got him. I mean, good goddamn. It's actually really what's going on right now. The war versus it's a war against humanity. Good versus evil, life over death, you know? It's crazy. They got us stuck in between, thinking about everything under the sun, except for retribution. We the people. Man, we want to implement change, man. And it's not about just being subservient. We want real changes, changing the whole system. Like Dr. Neely Fuller said, changing it with a system of justice. Because if we ain't doing that, we ain't doing jack. But in order for us to do that, our collective minds have to open our hearts up to knowing that we might not know everything, and we might not have everything covered when it comes to guaranteeing that no person is mistreated, guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. You know, these are the things that in the grand scheme of things are hard to establish. See me? So until we learn to establish that, are we really doing anything in this life? I feel like they're basically just trying to get us to submit at any means possible. They'll take out whoever they need to in order for us to go ahead and take these vaccines, because they polluted the world so much, and then they're going to blame it on us. Can you believe that? Well, that's what's going on right now. I mean, let's keep it funky, man. But now we're going to watch
but today I want to speak to you as myself about a cause that's very dear to my heart.
The Clippers versus Lakers live.
Provides free help to those who have cancer and those who wish to prevent it. They've also worked tirelessly on banning cancer.
All that jazz.
Out now. Quand on parle de puissance rugissante, de fougue indomptable et de force inébranlable, on parle d'un solide camion, le GMC Sierra. Optez pour le choix numéro 1 du guide de l'auto 2021.
Stay tuned for the post-game show with Jeannie Zelasco, Don McClain, and Corey Maggette, brought to you by our good friends over at
Corey Maggette. Oh, I haven't heard from him in a while.
Clippers, they get underway again against the Lakers on opening night, December 22nd. First home game will be close for the Clippers, considering there will be no fans. Will be against. Who will be against? They got the Denver Nuggets. They're in Denver on Christmas. Even I'm getting used to the schedule being broken up.
Imagine that, no fans.
You're gonna have to make adjustments this year for everybody. I'm seeing it across the board. You know, just we're here, which is I think is very important. NBA Play Association, excellent job of tying this thing up a little bit so we can have NBA basketball. Like
he mentioned adjustments. The key word from Ty Lue to speak to Cam was adaptability, because it's what they're going to need it. Whether that's because of a viral outbreak, whether that's because they're changing different lineups or playing series in a different way. There's going to be a couple of times this year where the Clippers go, for example, to Memphis, and they play 2 games in Memphis in a row. Not necessarily back-to-back, but they're in Memphis for 4
I don't know. I
days.
feel like the Clippers are trash.
City as well. There's going to be an adaptability for all the teams, and maybe the most successful team this year will have the most adaptability.
Well, I said this about the bubble. In the bubble,
They should just let them
teams that can lock in,
start in 5 play. Last 5 minutes.
Everyday thing had the best chance to win. This year,
Yeah, I was watching the exhibition with no
we have a 3-game
superstars.
routine. What we love to do, coaches are like that too. There's going to be times when that is broken up because of schedule changes and everything else. So teams that are able to lock in and kind of focus in on still playing without maybe it being normal throughout the course of the year, I think position themselves a lot better to be able to compete and win.
Well, I think that the Los Angeles Lakers are finna do what do you call it? A 3-peat. They're gonna win this year, and they're gonna win the next year. They're gonna go ahead and get one of the main players out here, because all these players are jumping ship, going to the championship team. Teams are taking over and doing what they gotta do. So let's look out for that. Yeah. Oh, crowd goes over the ball.
Trying to work their big point on Lakers. Pick up misses inside Clippers rebound. They trail by
They got Macho, Harris, Harold, and everybody. Like, why do we need him? He's trash.
26 made shots, 22 turnovers.
Well, let's see how far we're gonna take it.
Ingredients of your first preseason game.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers, a lot unforced. A lot of 2 comes. You see Arturo right there. I mean,
Wow,
I love the way
Trez,
he ran the floor, sealed himself inside, was patient once he received the basketball.
Where LeBron at?
Identified where the rim was at, was able to finish.
Yeah, I want to show this shit with y'all, man. But yo,
But go back and look. Seal inside.
I need to know where LeBron's
You
at.
gotta reward the post
Well, I tell you that right now.
The touch right there
That nigga got nothing on
over his right shoulder.
Kevin Durant. Well, let's see what Kevin Durant does with his own team. But I ran the coattails. I mean, individually, I think Kevin Durant got it when it comes to scoring. So let's see what he does when it comes to leading.
You know what I mean?
Can you dig it?
He did not love it, but he does give it crazy. Look, if it wasn't for
Got my mind right, money right, I'm ready for war.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wait. That's sophisticated.
Oh,
That was
So
a
let's not
underhanded
get
shot at somebody.
ourselves caught up in
No,
more
it was.
like it was
bullshit.
overhand.
Keep it real, the motherfucker. Be real, motherfucker.
I get it.
Or table tennis.
Ping pong.
Kuzma
When it comes to manufactured
down the lane, offense lane, out
manipulation,
of bounds. Clippers look to add to their 1-point lead. Again, the priority here in the preseason, I don't care who you're rooting for. It's stay healthy, stay healthy, stay healthy.
anybody that wants to better this world,
With all the Kings men ready to play.
Yeah,
they're gonna put a product or something in place people to buy it
see them take what they've been working on
and use
in
against
practice and apply
because
it.
that's the way capitalism
I think it's very important
They don't care about
young
betterment, they just care about
to play,
profits.
but I need you to do A, B, C, and D.
That's what this vaccine.
Okay, this is what we worked on.
Kill all the
Because of
people that
excitement, I want to
will
see
help people
if you just throw all that out the
holistically.
window as a coach and go
Just
play.
become a
I want to
profit
see
here.
how in tune
That's the
towards your
only
game
way
plan, even if it's limited,
to get yourself
to where your focus is
a
at.
greater slice of the pie. This over offensive world.
He took
They
30 shots
act
in
like
the
this
6
so
games that he played last year.
scarce. And we're so
He's taken 60
we're so
tonight, but they have called his number, and that's an unfair comparison because he was on
in
the
that
court in major minutes at the time, so he was a recipient of certain shots. This is you can't compare
crazy,
the two.
man. It's crazy how they have us thinking
Don't let facts
one
interrupt
way
the
where
great
they
story.
think it's
Jim, that is
totally the
it
opposite.
depends on how you present those facts. What they're presenting,
It's a complete sham and an
tomato,
embarrassment
tomato.
that they
It's,
make.
it's the same thing, but how you say it. You know what I mean? And how you present it. I'm not letting you run. I'm not. Don't put him in that situation. I had a great nugget. What was it?
That's the testing. I ain't flexing. I'm just telling you what it is. If it's interesting, I hope you stay.
You'll come back. You'll find your
This is a
motion.
life test.
Kevin Kelly. Shot clock in.
Yeah, so yo, it just goes to show y'all, man. Don't get caught up in the hype, man. Don't let anybody tell y'all that y'all can't accomplish certain goals and certain aspirations, man. You know what I'm saying? Just do it under the guise of the auspices of being like everybody else. But what we're trying to do is single people out, make them, you know, susceptible to being harmed by themselves because people are not looking out for people like these. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta get more love, more family. We gotta get more serious. Point blank, period. So watch what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign off. Keep watching this game. I have y'all come back
Now let me ask you this
another
question.
time. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say he has drip or does he have swag?
Shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to the whole NBA for being back on. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait till the 21st. We're gonna watch the game and we're gonna get it in, man. You know what I'm saying? Until then, you know my slogan: keep it real in the field. Get how they feel. I'm out. Peace. Yep. You already know. I love y'all. The world needs more of